7 mindsets of retirees. Now, that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Like everybody else, retirees get into a persona of their own. They have their own set of mindsets. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good, and we're going to look at some of those not so good ones. First up, frugal thinking. As one retires, one becomes very anxious about money and money-related expenses. So they decide to become very frugal in what they do, almost going to the point of what in India we call as KANJOOS. So we kind of abandon expenses that we would have normally incurred and so on and so forth. Now, how does one get over this frugal or KANJOOS mindset? The way to do that is to have a robust plan, retirement plan. A robust retirement plan will give you how much of money you can spend on a month-on-month basis. So as long as you're spending within that budgeted amount, you don't need to have anxiety, you don't need to have problems. You can quite happily go and have that party, have that holiday, all of it, as long as it figures within your retirement plan. So planning will ensure that you don't suffer the anxiety and spend freely. That's the first one. Second aspect of mindset is Pennywise, pound foolish. I remember a couple of years ago, a friend's father who had recently retired decided to walk a long distance what he would have otherwise taken a car for the transport. He felt that being retired, he couldn't afford that kind of money and a walk would do him well. Unfortunately, while walking, he pulled a nerve and ended up going to the hospital, and that costed him even more. Friends, it's important to be clear about spending, but it's also good not to be foolish about it. So just because you've retired, your life doesn't change upside down. You need to spend money that you need to spend. So make sure that you're not penny wise, pound foolish in that sense. Sometimes we find that retired people end up taking extreme risks. They believe that, especially in times when stock market seems to be booming, they tend to believe that all their money must go into stock markets so that they can generate that big return. Always remember, as a retiree, you don't have regenerative money. The money, if it's lost, cannot be made back. So to that extent, no harm in taking risks, taking stock-oriented calls or investing in equity mutual funds, all quite right. But do it as you always did. Do it within your risk appetite, not beyond. Don't take extraordinary risk in this whole process. That's what I would say. Next up, sometimes we find that retirees also get into taking some very, very high risk investing calls. We call this the factor of greed, especially in matters like chit funds or some of those high risk products. We have seen some of the retirees take some extraordinary risk because they've been promised a very, very high return. Now, the way to overcome this is to have, like I mentioned, a good investment plan. And if that product doesn't fit within the investment plan, please stay out of it, because people tend to lose and people tend to prey on that need of the seniors for a higher return and therefore tempt them with a greedy offer, and thereby the seniors lose precious capital in that process. The other thing which we have noticed as one grows older is that one tends to gift their assets to their children. Especially retirees have this thing that anyway this asset is going to go to my children, why not I give it to them in the lifetime? While this is a good, noble thought, our belief is that all assets that you've earned in your lifetime must be with you. The assets must only pass to your children after your time. Till that point in time, that asset must be with you and must earn returns for you. That's really the fundamental principle. All assets must sweat for you. So there are people we've noticed when we do these retirement plans that they keep monies in real estate, especially land and so on and so forth. Now, while land is a good investment, it's a long-term appreciating investment. So as seniors or as retirees, we are looking for regular cash flows. So the amount that we keep in these appreciating, long-term appreciating asset needs to be as low as possible, not more. Last but not the least, you will get tons and tons of advice. Everybody, including your neighbor, your brother, your family, will give you a lot of different ways to invest and make money. Please listen to all of it, but finally do as per your bidding, because it's your money, it's your retirement, and make sure that you're very diligent about it. Not everybody's advice will work for us. We know what will work for each of us. You need to apply that measure and move ahead. Hope these 7 mindsets help you overcome and have a very happy and a contented post-retirement life.